Good Thursday morning to you. I'm Jake Rowe. She's Braelin Smallwood, and this is the Field Notes podcast. So thankful that you guys are joining us. We're all trying to be more thankful. Thanksgiving's coming up here pretty soon, but we've got a pretty loaded show today. Probably one of the most. I don't know. We covered the most ground. I feel like got a lot of topics we cover. We got Jay Maxwell from 46Ten Productions. He's going to join us and talk about pretty much everything under the sun: faith, fishing, travel, family, hunting, you name it. He's going to touch on it. We've got a pair of Lumpkin County sisters who are committed to fish at a small Georgia college. But these girls made history earlier this year, and we wrote about it over at GON. We got a fun story from Kingsley, a native of Nigeria who developed a fondness for hunting. And for the deer woods from some friends at work. And then Braelin and I are going to get into some early hunt stories. We've also got a lake record we're going to talk about real quick, and it's not a bass. I know some folks, we got a little feedback on the show that folks were like, hey, not just bass and bucks. Let's get into some other stuff. So we will. We listen. But first, Braelin, before getting anything else, what's up with you? Say something cool.
Jake, I'm doing well, living life, loving life. This past weekend, I actually was competing in some ropings, which was fun. So not hunting, not fishing, not doing any of that. But that was last weekend. This coming weekend, I'm hopefully going to tackle some public land hunting, both Saturday and Sunday, with one of my good friends, Callie. And funny thing is, we've attempted this before. We've hunted some public land, and we're both new to it. But we did it last year. And it ended up with a frog in my pants. Now, don't ask how that happened because I don't know. I just felt something squishy on my leg, and I was like, Callie, come help me. Like, I don't know what this is. And she was like, Braelin, take your pants off. Don't worry, I had on thermals underneath my pants. So I pulled off my pants, and there's a frog in it. Just standing there in my thermals in the woods with a frog. So hopefully that doesn't happen this weekend. Hopefully we'll actually get some good stuff going and find some deer, find some sign, and set up and have a better experience. But
it's because of your warm personality, is what it is. That frog was looking for some warmth.
Thanks,
And you are nothing if not warm. So let's jump right in and talk about our man Kingsley, a native of Henry County, and he's got a little hunt story to share with us.
yeah, so Kingsley sent us a direct message through Facebook, and I saw it, and he sent in a couple pictures of his deer that he shot, and he was telling me a little bit about his backstory. So he's originally from Nigeria, moved to Georgia to Henry County about 3 years ago, and he developed some friendships and connections with his coworkers, and they taught him the ropes and everything, and he was able to harvest his first buck, which was a little 6-point, when he hunted for the first time. So that was awesome. He actually, this is what he told me. He said, my coworkers are big time hunters, and I've been working with them for about 3 years. I've always loved the outdoors, and they took the time to teach me what I needed to know before getting started. I completed my hunter's ed, bought licenses, and was very blessed to have my first deer on my very first hunt. So I thought that was super cool. Just you getting out the woods, and he loves it. And he was telling me that he's looking forward to it, and he's so pumped. And I just love this. It's so awesome to me. Just people helping out people, hunters helping out hunters, and now he's got the love for it. So I think that's super duper awesome.
I also think my man Kingsley right there, he's got kind of $1 million smile a little bit. He's certainly happy with that harvest, and that's what it's all about, man. I mean, that's something we talk about it all the time. The first hunts, those first kills, and we're going to have some photos of those later as Braelin and I kind of tell some stories and share some of our favorite hunt stories. But man, I love stories like this. I love kind of people, like you said, people helping people. And Jay even touches on that in the talking about the GON forums over at the Woody's Campfire forums over at GON. Like, I've even got great stories about that. So that's one thing I do love about the outdoors is that setup. Another thing I love about the outdoors is when our Georgia fishermen, our Georgia hunters, they make it happen. And the Gailey sisters, Audrey and Lindsay, Braelin, I wrote about these girls earlier in the year, and they went out to Pickwick Lake in Florence, Alabama, and they became the first and the first sister duo to win a tournament on the MLF Abu Garcia Trail. I believe there were over 30 boats in that tournament, but there were over 250 boats on that lake the day before. The pressure was just kind of unreal on the fish out there. They're now committed to attend Bruton Parker University in Mount Vernon, Georgia. You know where Mount Vernon, Georgia is, brother?
I don't know where Mount Vernon, Georgia is, Jake. Can you tell me where that's at? I'm not up on my Georgia geography. I should be, but
Montgomery County. It is in Montgomery County. It is I played a little baseball over there in high school. It's been a long time, but listen, Bruton Parker University is a very small school. I believe it's a Christian school, but I believe it's also a Baptist school. And these were girls of faith. When they fished in that tournament at Pickwick, they dedicated it to a friend of theirs, a family friend who was battling, I believe it was bone cancer. And their dad reached out to me, Timothy. He calls them Irish twins because they were born 11 months apart. And Audrey's the oldest, and she's already locked in. She's going to be signing some scholarship paperwork later this week. And then Lindsay is going to attend there next year. But these girls are a dynamic duo. They went out to Pickwick Lake and caught four smallies, 4 smallmouth bass, 1 spotted bass, and finished a pound clear of the next person, right there, second place. And just a really impressive story, I think, when you kind of get out there, you get to blaze the trail. I know their dad's super proud. He told me, he was like, man, these are the best. This is the best female angling team in the country. Nobody's done what they've done. And he's got a good point. Like, I mean, you go out there and win when nobody else has. I think you've got a claim to something, right?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. They're crushing it, and I could only hope to be as good as of a fisherwoman as they are.
That's right, 100%. The cool thing about Pickwick though is they'd never fished there before, like ever. And they go in, they fish. I believe their dad told me that they fished like a little 100-yard stretch of lake where they had kind of marked some rocks on the bottom. And they just crushed them. They just kind of went back and forth. And here we go. You got a couple record setters in the state of Georgia. And that's pretty awesome, man. All the way up. I will say this, Dahlonega is a thriving metropolis compared to Mount Vernon, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
It's a big city compared to Mount Vernon, Georgia. So we got some more fishing stuff here. I know it's deer season. I know that's what everybody wants to talk about. But Braelin, we've got a lake record over at Lake Seed, a crappie, right? I call them sockolays or specks.
See, now I call them crappie.
Yeah, and you call them crappie, crappie, tomato. That's the way it goes. We've all got our different ways of saying things. Some people in our office say antenna.
Some people do. Do you want to tell them who those some people are, Jake?
That would be me and our fellow co-host on here, Kimberly Lee. We get made fun of all the time for the way we say antenna.
Does anyone else say antenna? You got to let us know, because I think it's antenna. So I don't know.
See, when I hear you say that, I just don't hear anything that different.
It's different. There's an E and there's an A, Jake. There's an E and there's an A. I say E, you say A.
That doesn't sound that different, but all right. My man, Jeff Smith, 76 years old, catches a lake record spec. I'm going to call it a spec. Just kind of keep it simple. Keep it in the middle. Lake record over there. This thing was 2.2 pounds. That's a slab. That is so impressive. That looks like a bass. I mean, we know it's not, but that's like catching a pretty decent little bass.
Right. This is awesome. Yeah, he actually submitted a physical picture of himself, which was awesome, and he did it online as well. So we got the actual picture of him in the office hanging up on our whiteboard, showing off his lake record.
I love it. This thing was 16.6 inches long. And one of the coolest parts about this story, if I scroll down and I show you the Lake Seed official records, look right here. I'll highlight it here for everybody. This man has now caught the lake record bluegill and the lake record black crappie, and he caught them 1 year apart on the exact same day, November the 5th.
That's awesome.
how could you not love the outdoors and the opportunities it presents itself as far as stuff like that? But what a catch for my man Jeff Smith. Again, 76 years old, out there getting it done. We love it. It's amazing. So, you know, I don't know about. He's probably got a great story to tell. I want to know, as we, and we'll have here in the background for those watching, some first buck kills that we put together this week. But Braelin, I want you to tell me, what's one of your funnest, weirdest, wackiest, most memorable hunt stories? Or
So
stories, I guess it could be a hunt story. Yeah, let's call it a hunt story.
okay. Well, I have lots of fun stories. They're all great. I mean, all of them are great hunt stories, but this one in particular is not a deer one. It's not the story of my first deer, but it was my first official duck hunting trip. And it didn't happen in Georgia, but it's still the memory's there and will always be there. So, as many of y'all probably might know, I don't know, I talk about them a lot. I have 3 older brothers. They're great. I love them. And they took me duck hunting on Clarks Hill a little bit growing up, but obviously, I mean, Georgia, not many ducks there, so I just went and hung out in the boat with them, didn't know what was happening. So a few years ago, they were like, "Oh, we're going to go to Kansas." And I said, "Well, I want to go, of course, let me tag along. I'm your little sister." So we drove out to Kansas. It was me, and I think there ended up being like 2 of my brothers and 3 of their friends or something like that. So me, lots of guys. It was great. They were the best. Drove 18 hours. I slept, didn't drive. And we get out there. We immediately hit the water, and it's windy. It's cold. I don't know what's happening. It's dark. And we get there, and we almost hit a 5-man limit that first day out on the water. And it was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen and probably will ever see, because it doesn't happen here. I mean, I've never seen it, but yeah. So we shot some ducks, and it was so fun. We were out there for a week, and not every day was like that, but almost every day we got some ducks coming in. Made grilled duck in the duck blind, hanging out all day long, and we'd go get a good supper. And it was cold, but it was so fun cleaning. We'd find random hotels to be like, "Hey, do you mind if we clean our ducks in the back?" Like, I mean, and they were like, "Sure, it's fine." So there was, we were rolling up to these random hotels, and then we were bouncing around some. But the craziest thing about that was we were on this like lake. I don't even remember where it was, nor would I tell any of y'all. So you can go out there and shoot ducks, because I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna share the secret holes, But we were out there, and it was windy, and these waves were like going crazy. And we were in these small duck boats, but we get back into town, and people were asking us where we were hunting, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, like, that's the most dangerous lake there is." And we're like, "Oh, we got it." It was fun. So little did we know we were rolling in some treacherous waters. I think they said some people had died on the water, so that was a little scary. But it's a good thing I trust my brothers fully to take care of my life. So my mama would have probably killed them if they'd have done something to me. But yeah. So that was my great time, Jake. So tell me about yours. Like, what's your best story?
Well, before I get to it, I want to ask you a question, because I have hunted duck before, but I've never like been into one of those real deal duck blinds, the kind where you can grill a duck up. How fun is that? Because to me it looks like the funnest thing maybe ever.
Oh my gosh. It was so fun. Like, that was probably the best food ever. It was so fresh. And I know
Yeah.
some people don't like duck, but I don't know if it was the fact that we were like so hungry. We hadn't been eating much, but it was the best. And it was fun just hanging out with them. Like, we were all there and having the best time. I don't even know. And say that, I mean, it kind of ruined me on duck hunting here, because that was my first official trip and we killed so many ducks. But it's fun. I want to do that every single time, even if we don't shoot the ducks. It's just fun hanging out with the people. So
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I've always see those videos of like those duck blinds where they're making coffee and they're making food and everything else. And I mean, I don't know, maybe it's not real hunting. I couldn't tell you. I'm not an expert, but I will say that it has always looked like one of the funnest things that you could possibly do. Now, mine kind of centers around something that I don't think you've done, and I don't think a lot of people have done, and it's hunting deer with dogs. And Lapahall Hunting Club down in South Georgia, down there, in Atkinson County, where I'm from. Basically the gist of it is you get your hounds out there, your walkers, your blue ticks, your walker blue tick mixes. You'll sprinkle a beagle in there sometimes, whatever, and you jump. You get the dogs jump a deer, and they run him all over the country, all over the hunting club. And, when they cross roads, when they cross fields, it's shotguns only, so you don't want to be firing a rifle that's going to go 500, 600, 700 yards and, clip somebody or go through somebody's tailgate. I was about 6 years old, and I still remember this to this day. It's just burned into my memory. And there's a big doe kind of running across the field, and it was doe day. That was back when we had doe days as opposed to 10, 12 doe tags a year, right? And this thing's just running across the field, and obviously none of the hunters there are really all that enthused about shooting a doe. But I was 6 years old, and I was ready to go. So my dad handed me the 12 gauge. It was a pump action, and I remember there was one of my dad's buddies, Everett Meeks, was right there, and I put that thing to my shoulder, and I just start pulling the trigger. And Everett's got his hand on it, and he's pumping it after every shot. So I'm there. I've got a lot of assistance here, but the problem is, Braelin, is every time I shoot, I raise that thing like 15 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's boom, 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 and next thing I know, it just starts raining pine limbs and pine cones on top of my head. Like, I mean, I'm just blowing the limbs out of this tree. That doe had nothing to be scared of, not one thing. I didn't come close to her. There may have been some blackbirds or something flying over that caught a pellet, but I threatened her zero.
Hey, that's awesome. I'm sure she was a little frightened by you, Jake.
Probably by the dogs.
Maybe.
By the dogs. Yeah.
Maybe. That's awesome.
But it's a lot of fun. One of the funnest things is, we would go hunting on a Georgia football Saturday or NFL Sunday, and we would listen to the games in the truck. Because this is not about like being quiet. It's actually a really cool thing for a kid to go do. And, you got people we're all kind of riding roads and listening to the dogs and everything. And, they start to get close to the road or whatever. He's like, hey, she's about to cross over here. It's about to cross over here. And man, we were just driving, GMC Sonoma pickup trucks. Everybody had kind of their little beater dog hunting truck. We're just driving those things 60 miles an hour on dirt roads, swaying or Tokyo drifting around curves. I mean, it's a wonder somebody didn't end up wrapped around a pine tree at some point, but whatever. We had a blast, and I never did kill a deer dog hunting. I did take a shot at one time, and I swung him around. It's a little weird with a shotgun. That was probably, close to 200-pound 8-point, but didn't get him, and we missed out. But there's a lot of good memories from doing that. And as far as I know, there's only a real small section of Georgia where you can actually do that. And I just happened to grow up in one of them.
That's awesome. Have you been recently?
Nah, it's been a long time. It's probably been, now that I think about it, I think the last time I went, my daddy and I were listening to Georgia Tech, 1997.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a little while back. Before you were born.
Yeah, before I was born.
And you're a way better hunter than I am.
No, Jake, no, I'm not.
No doubt about it. It doesn't take much.
I just got more experience, Jake. That's it.
Especially of late, there's no doubt. I put a lot of time in the stands when I was a kid, and I wasn't ready. And now that I'm kind of itching to do it, but can't find time.
Life gets in the way. I think we can all relate on that. Life gets in the way.
It certainly does. But it does not get in the way of our man, Jay Maxwell at 46Ten. It's time to get to that, because that was such a great interview. Jay, man, he is an open book, and he loves people. He loves hunting. He loves fishing. His path to where he is now, from boat captain, or actually, I don't know, maybe we call him college dropout.
Ooh, maybe.
But hey, it's hard to argue with the success he's had. And what I love about this interview coming up is Jay is going to be very open and honest with you about how fortunate he has been to do some of the things he's done in the deer woods and out on the water. And I just love that humility about him. I appreciate everything about it. So let's get to that interview. Here comes Jay Maxwell, 46Ten Productions. Enjoy it. Joining us on the Field Notes Podcast, episode 5, is our man Jay Maxwell from 46Ten Productions. Jay does it all. Jay hunts, Jay fishes, Jay's lived multiple lives in the outdoors, I feel like. And it's one of the things we really appreciate him. He's a friend of ours at the GON Outdoor Blast. I don't know, man. He's a good dude, a lot of accomplishments, just got through traveling. Jay, how's it going, man?
Doing great, man. How are y'all? Thank you for having me. Braelin, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hey, man, we appreciate you taking time. So, listen, nothing we could possibly talk about is more important than what you've got going on. We're big on faith. We're big on family here at GON. And the Maxwells are officially adding to the family here. What can you tell us about that?
We are. And this is certainly God's sense of humor is what I'm going to call it. Because last July, we found out that my wife's sister was pregnant. She's going to have a baby. And, well, that just throws opens just a big old can of worms with that whole situation and the rough life that she was in and where she was at. And we knew that we would probably have to step in to take over. And unfortunately, it's been quite the battle. It shouldn't be. This is technically my nephew. This is my wife's sister's little boy. He was born a preemie last year, October 6th. So he just turned 1. And we have taken him from the 2 percentile over the last year to the, oh gosh, he's pushing 90% now. He's huge. So lots of venison and ducks and turkeys, and that's what it does. So man, we are extremely blessed. I'm 46 years old and had absolutely no intentions on starting over again. But like I said, God's sense of humor stepped in. He said, "You thought you were done, but you just wait. I got something for you right here." So yeah, man, we were about to be empty nesters. I have a 18-year-old son and a 15-year-old daughter, and son's college, and my daughter, she's going to be a horse trainer, turning 16 here before long. And my wife and I were looking around. We were like, all right, about time to travel. We're fixing to go elk hunting, and we're going to go to Bahamas. We're going to catch some fish, and we're going to do this. And then God was like, nope, I need y'all to stay home a little bit longer. So we have taken this baby in, and tomorrow is the day, November 19th at 9:15 in the morning. We're going to Superior Court, and he will officially become a Maxwell. And his name will be Oliver Boone Maxwell. And we're going to call him Boone. And yeah, we're super excited. We just came in. I was a few minutes late getting on here with you, Jake, because we just came in from feeding deer and running around, and Boone fell asleep in the truck, and I was trying to lay him down, and then my little Yorkie jumped up on the back of the couch, and I'm trying to rock him back to sleep, and I knocked her off, and she bopped her head, and I'm like, oh gosh, let me call you in just a second. So that was what was going on in the Maxwell household right when you called. So. But it's awesome, man. We're very, very blessed. We're super excited. We've got a lot of family coming tomorrow, probably over 20 family members coming to the courthouse, and then we're all going to eat afterwards. It's just super excited. So it's going to be awesome.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about.
That's really good to hear. I know you're a big family man, Jay, just from knowing people that know you. But before we get into specifics of everything else, we know you've hunted a lot, you've fished, you've been out in the woods, on the water. What drives all that? Like, what fuels the passion behind all of that?
I truthfully now, after having kids, and look here, my son, he likes to hunt. He doesn't love to hunt. He's like, all right, that's my example. So I'm super passionate about everything I do. It's like it's in my blood, just built in me. And I think there's a lot of people listening to this right now that can probably relate to what I'm saying. But I think you're something you're actually born with. I don't know why. I was very lucky and very blessed. Yeah, there's a deer I just killed a few days ago. How about it, man? Y'all are quick. So very blessed, I think, to grow up with. I didn't get to know my grandparents very well at all. My grandpa he was killed in 1973. He apparently was eat, sleep, and breathe it kind of guy, and that's kind of what everybody describes me as. They're like, man, you're just like your Papa Roy. Well, I never got to know him because he was killed before I was born. But I got to know my dad's dad a little bit, and he was a hunter, not a big hunter, which became my dad was a hunter. He grew up hunting quite a bit, and my uncle. So my dad and my uncle, we were always just going. It was deer camp and fishing, and I mean, it was. I mean, weekly. I mean, it's not like you go to deer camp twice a year. It's you go every weekend. You go, and then when you're not even there, you go fishing at the lake and you catch fish and you come home and you eat dinner. And then on Sundays, you go play golf. I mean, that was my life. I was extremely blessed. I feel like I'm old enough now to say I've seen a lot of walks of life, and I'm very blessed to say I feel like I grew up on that, white picket fence. You know what I mean? And I try to. So what I've taken and learned over all my years and all my passion, and I was the little boy that was getting off the school bus and had my BB gun hitting at the end of the driveway, and I would bird hunt myself 2 hours back to the house when it's 300 yards down the driveway. I mean, I was eat up with it by myself alone, and then I'd hunt with my dad, my uncle, and everybody. I don't know. It's a drive that I can't explain, and there's people on here that understand it. Some people just don't have it. My son, he likes to hunt. He doesn't love to hunt. He's not super passionate about it. So there's kind of a difference right there. But I'm just, man, I love to spread the news. I love to spread the word. I love to help people. I love to teach people. And that's pretty much what 4610 Productions is about, which is my YouTube channel now, you guys know. I like to be informational and help as many people as I possibly can. I reach out to everybody. I try to hold everybody's hand if I can. So
yeah, so tell us more about 4610. Like I know part of it, and I know some people might have heard of it, but like where did it start? What's it all about? What's the mission behind it?
yeah, so obviously me being, I feel like an older generation, YouTube was never heard of. In fact, smartphones we didn't even have until 2009 or something. So social media wasn't a thing either. Now a lot of people are growing up. This is the way of life. Back then, trying to explain to people what you do and how passionate about it was not existent, other than friends and family, or close friends and family. Now it's much greater. So as time ticked, of course, I meet Lee and Drew with Seek One Productions, and they knew that I was a super avid hunter and fisherman, and and they saw the success that I was having. I killed the state record in 2007, and they see this, and so they call me and were like, "Hey, dude, we need to pick your brain about something." So we start talking, and this is right when Lee was getting into hunting, so everything just transpired. I found two people that absolutely became passionate about it, just as I was when I was that little boy. They fell in love with it. They love it. And then they wanted to turn it into a career, which was mind blowing to me because I grew up watching, Ronnie Coe Strickland and Primos and David Harold Knight. And I mean, I got every single VHS tape there was from back in literally from 1989 all the way through. I have a whole entire tub full of VHS tapes and DVDs and stuff that I would watch everything and watch all this footage. And I thought it was the most fascinating thing, but it never crossed my mind to actually try to start a TV channel or try to do anything in that regards. And then all of a sudden, Drew and Lee, one day they were like, "Yeah, dude, we're gonna start filming all this stuff. All these big bucks running around Atlanta. We're just gonna film it, and we're gonna make a YouTube channel." And I was like, "Oh, what? A YouTube channel? Who watches that?" So I started dabbling around with it a little bit then, and then of course Seek One was born. And when Seek One was born, I think it kind of opened my eyes to the whole social media platform. This is how things are going to go now. This is the direction we're moving. So absolutely, I want to be a part of it. Let's do it. So for the first 5 years of Seek One, in fact, I think when I left Seek One, we were at about almost 600,000 subscribers. So we took it from nothing to 600,000 together. It was awesome. We brought Kendall in. It was a ride. And there again, like Braelin said, I'm such a family person. Most people don't know that I live an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes away from Lee and Drew and Kendall. They are in Atlanta. They are in the city. I am a bona fide country boy. Braelin knows exactly where I'm from. I mean, we're from the same town. So we can't live in the city. It's not in my DNA. It's not my blood. I can't survive. I cannot stand getting on I-20 out here. I got stuck this morning in traffic. It drives me crazy. So, I felt like with my family and the distance traveling and the growth that we had, that it was time for me to just kind of step away and breathe and say, you know what, I just need to take this to my level and do it on my own time as I can and not feel pressured to run here, run there, be on this time, be on that, So 4610 was born in a Waffle House in Atlanta right after a bow hunt. I had already made a decision. I prayed with my wife about it, and I said, I can do this on my own. I'll have fun with it. I can incorporate my family, my friends, whoever wants to come can be on my channel. So it's a little bit different, right? It's a little bit different twist on it. But then I was also like, how do you name a YouTube channel? I mean, that's kind of important, right? So, I kicked around a bunch of stuff. And then that morning in that Waffle House, one thing that Lee and I talked about a lot is through our Sequin days is being still, and Lee was a huge help on me for that. I mean, he's 10 years younger. He's at least 10 years younger than I am, and he was a follower of Christ, avid. I mean, just like I've never seen a young guy, and Drew too, as well. Same thing. I've never seen somebody so young chasing God in the way that they were doing it. They were always involved with this young life stuff, and it was some really cool stuff happening. So they were actually growing on me and teaching me. Even I'm so much older, they were teaching me about, dude, you got to just chill out. So one thing that resonated with us with Sequin was being still, and that's Psalm 46:10. So be still and know that I'm God. All right. So that's God saying, look here, y'all, stop all this crazy chaos that's going on in the world. In back in those days, it was lay your swords and lay your weapons down and lay your shield. Lay everything down. Know that I'm God and let me take control of your life. Let me help you. Chill out. Be still. Let me handle it. So sitting in that Waffle House, I was like, man, Lee and I had talked about being still multiple times throughout episodes. Guys, you just got to be still. You got to give it to him. And I'm like, man, that'd be cool. Can't name the channel Be Still. That's kind of weird, And I'm like eating my dang waffle, and I'm like, I don't know. I really want to incorporate that somehow. And then I was like, I mean, it is Psalm 46:10. And I was like, 46:10, that's weird. That's numbers, but kind of got a little twang to it. I'm like, 4610 Productions, maybe? Heck yeah. Yeah, I picked up the phone and I was like, hey, guess what? It's going to be 4610 Productions. And, and Lee, they already knew that I was leaving at this point, man. It was tough, man. This was absolutely no bad blood. That question gets asked all the time. Like, man, something happened. You know what? Not, absolutely not. Absolutely not. This was a sole decision on my part and my wife and where we needed to be with our kids. And you can watch plenty of episodes. I've been a full-time defensive football coach for 10 years. 10 years I coached my son. I would not miss a game. I would not miss a practice. So when you're involved in all that, man, and you're trying to film, that's extremely difficult. It'll suck you dry. So I just needed to do this. So 4610 was born right there. And my first episode, man, I killed like 145-inch deer. Called him in and killed him. And it was awesome. And I was like, oh, this is gonna work. So
Very cool.
so yeah, you can get on my 4610 channel, and I don't know, there's about 90. I think I'm about to put my 98th episode out, which is mind blowing to me. I can't believe I've actually got that many on there. But 98 episodes, and I just filmed Kansas, which you just saw the big deer I just killed up there. That's going to go on there. And leaving in a couple weeks to go to Oklahoma, taking my dad to Oklahoma to see if he can kill a nice deer with a rifle. Crazy enough, my dad has never killed a deer over 125 inches.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pick this camera up for a second, but you can look behind me. And there's a whole big table full of bucks over there that are over 140 just with the racks cut off laying on the table right now. I'm going to come up with some kind of crazy plan with them. But yeah, I've been really, really blessed to be in the right place at the right time and make it happen when it does. So I'm excited to Chase and I are going to take Dad, try to put him on a good deal with a rifle. I'm actually going to take the rifle to Oklahoma with me. And I can probably safely say that I have not killed a deer with a rifle in 25 years. I don't even remember when. I tried to remember, and I think it's around 25 years. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It is. I'm ready to get the shooting sticks out, and I'm going to go back old school like I used to when I was in high school. And I used to make my own shooting sticks and put my rifle in there, man, and I could, shoot that rifle at 400 or 500 yards, no problem. And today's rifles, man, they're amazing. So bought me a new 300 PRC, and I'm just going to go have fun. And we're going to duck hunt in the mornings and deer hunt in the evenings for about a week, and come home and just good quality time with my dad. That's what this is going to be about. And hopefully, I think I'm going to try to do some reverse psychology while I'm out there, because I told you I'm kind of the lucky one. So I'm going to kind of be like, all right, I'm going to go down there and sit on that hayfield overlooking that big creek bottom. And then I'm going to get out of the truck and start walking. Then I'll turn around and come meet Dad. I'm like, all right, Dad, you go here. You know what? I'm just going to go over here and see if I can trick the system into putting him on a good deer. So I don't know. We'll see. We're just going to have fun, though.
Yeah.
Braelin might have some cash for you if you want to come sit in the spot for a few minutes and then switch spots with her.
Yeah,
Right.
I would. We can work something out, Jay.
Yeah, that's right.
She's more of a hunter than I am. I do like to hunt, but she is she's hungry. Braelin's a hungry, hunt 'em hard type gal. So I did want to ask you though. So kind of getting into more of my wheelhouse here. I look at 4610, and obviously you got fishing videos on here. But I looked through a lot of your most recent stuff's hunting. But I'm told that in a previous life you were a boat captain, and obviously you've got some great stuff on your channel, fishing and stuff like that. And we love the diversity of it. We love the multi-tool outdoorsman. What was being a captain like, and what's your connection to the water?
Yeah, man. So salt water literally just runs through my veins. I can tell you that. It was kind of like as a kid growing up with that BB gun, coming down the driveway and shooting birds, shooting bluebirds and yellowfinches and sparrows, and I mean everything there was. At the same time, we always took a beach trip or two a year, mainly to Amelia Island, which is Fernandina Beach, Florida. And that was kind of the place that my dad grew up going when he was a kid. So naturally, he just ended up coming down there. And I started fishing as a kid. And the funnest thing to me about saltwater fishing is we stayed at this condo. It's still there. It's called Amelia by the Sea. And it's got a private fishing pier that goes out from it. Well, I wish I had this picture to show you, but I have a picture of me. I am 1 year and 2 months old, standing underneath the pier with a football in my hand, hanging on to it. And I've been going there since I was a baby. So there in Gulf Shores, we went both places, but I'll never forget just catching so many species of fish. You're fishing in this one spot, but you can catch 10 different species. And it's not like back home, you brim fish and you catch a brim. You bass fish and you catch a bass. You might catch a catfish. That's it. That's the three. So saltwater was just always, as a child, I just liked it. I think any kid that catches shark, I think that's fascinating as a child. You're like, oh, I got a shark, man. And you go back and you tell your stories to your little middle school or elementary kids, friends, and they're like, you call a shark? I don't know, man. So saltwater was an early onset. I went to college, not school material by any means, never have been. But my mom and dad, they both of them graduated University of Georgia. So go Dogs. Yeah, go Dogs. They graduated there. I grew up going to games there my whole life. So I had to try. So I did go to Truett McConnell College in Athens. I went to ABAC down in South Georgia, and then I finished. Well, I didn't finish, actually. Valdosta State was the last college. I was in a 4-year degree program. I went 3 years, and I called mom and dad up from Valdosta State, and I said, I really feel like I'm wasting money and spinning my wheels. Can I please just try to do something on my own? And, they were like, what? And I was like, Mom, you're really going to hate to hear this, but I'm going to move to the beach and I'm going to become a saltwater fishing captain. And Dad was like, yeah. And Mom's like, no. So that's pretty much how that went. And I did. I literally left Valdosta, drove to Amelia Island. Of course, I've known this island my whole life now. I'm 20, 21 years old now, 22 maybe. And I pull in and I'm like, where do you start? I don't know any local people really. Well, I did know a few, but not in the fishing business. And luckily, I just drove around, like, I don't know, man, like maybe a couple hours, and this dude walks out. He's walking down his driveway, blonde headed dude, tall, lanky, and his mailbox is a dang sailfish. And I'm like, well, surely this guy knows about fishing if he's got a mailbox that's a sailfish. Little did I know, I just stepped into a third generation boat captain that was 3 years younger than me, walking down the driveway. He was a teenager, and he went straight, graduated high school, right on to his family, all his family boats, had 3 boats. And his name's Captain Benny Hendricks. He took me under his wing and was like, dude, I'm gonna show you everything I know. So I'm not gonna lie, and I know this is a podcast and there's probably some young people on here, but it was partying, surfing, and fishing for 3 straight years, 3 straight full years, and that was my life. I went to sea school. I got my captain's license. I got 375 hours of water time. I first made it on a 40-foot Hatteras offshore. I just took what I had already known and just turned it into by this time I'm already a huge fisherman anyway, and I've already traveled around and done a lot of fishing, but this is something I really want to do. So redfish and tarpon is what I specialized in. We did a lot of shark fishing too, but bending the rod, making people smile, and that was the number one thing that we were good at, and we were really good at it. In fact, Captain Benny's still down there now doing it. I just fished with him. So, in fact, I posted a few pictures on my Instagram, I think, from fishing with him, and took my wife down there. We caught a bunch of big bull redfish probably about a month and a half ago. It wasn't long because they run fall time, but just absolutely no regrets at all. While I'm down there guiding, this is where the hunting comes back into it. While I'm down there guiding, I get a phone call from a plantation that I guided turkey hunting on back in like 99 and 2000. It's Burnt Pine Plantation in Madison, Georgia. It's kind of back home. And they said, dude, we just had this guy leave. He was kind of assistant managing the plantation. Would you be interested in coming up and taking over all the deer hunting and turkey hunting? And we definitely need you turkey hunting, but all the deer hunting, quail hunting, pheasant hunting. I said, shoot, yeah. Man, I was about this time. I was tired of partying. I was tired of falling off the dang surfboard. And I'm like, I'm ready for a change. So I went up there and interviewed, got the job immediately. And the next 4 years of my life was dedicated to Burnt Pine Plantation in Madison, Georgia, which is right down the road from my house. Met some fine people there. And, one thing I can say about doing stuff like that is you never, ever, ever, ever in your life, anybody listening to this, you never, especially young people, you never burn a bridge, ever. Everybody's your friend. Love everybody. If somebody's got hatred towards you, try to love them even more. And you never know where it's going to lead down the road. And that's exactly the way my entire life has unfolded to this point right now. So
that's awesome. So you've talked about community and meeting people, and I realize that like that's a big part of your life, which also ties back in with our mission on earth. I mean, like why we're here to, make community, make disciples. But so what do you think? Do you think it's that gets you most excited about hunting, or is there something else that just like is why you're so excited and what makes you tick about it?
yeah, man. Wow. The hunting thing, the enthusiasm, obviously, but the what's the word for it? Strategizing, coming up with that, just the plan, the catching the fish and the shooting the deer. That's simply nothing but icing on the cake, or the turkey. It is getting to the point that you are able to present that stuff to you. That is what drives me in the hunting and the fishing world. Strategizing and making that plan work. I literally, no kidding, I just explained this to my wife again. We've been married almost 20 years, and I just explained this again about the passion and drive. Like, we just went and fed some deer on a farm that I've got permission to hunt down the road, and I'm in there going, okay, look here. We're going to feed this direction, and we're going to spin the camera this way because I think we're missing something from here. Because see that scrape right there, that's fresh, that one's not. I was like, we're missing something. And I'm like, do you understand what I'm doing? And she's like, what? And I'm like, strategizing. I'm like, I've got the feed here and I want the camera pointed here because I want the stand there for the wind to be right here. And then when it all comes together, that's the exciting part about it. It's actually not making the shot or holding the animal up. It's getting to the point that you can get that to happen. And I think most of my life, I've been a guide, whether it's fishing guide or a hunting guide, because I guided hunting for well over a dozen years. And I think I got in my first turkey hunt at 16 years old when I could first drive, and my first customer I made $300 on, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. This is what I'm going to do. And then mom and dad were like, "No, you're going to college," and I'm like, "No, I want to do this." "No, you're going to college." And then everything just kind of took turn there. But I love putting a smile on people's face. I absolutely love it. It drives me. Like this whole Oklahoma trip right here with my dad, dude. All I'm thinking about is where I'm on X like daily right now, going, okay, if I get on that bluff right there, they deer should be crossing. And then now these days, man, you can actually do a lot of scouting on your phone if you have your property. Like especially, I've noticed some of these out west places, the imagery is so clear. Now I can actually see trails and stuff without even, So I know like I can get a starting point like right now. Like I have this certain bluff that's got this huge drop off, and there's this huge trail that comes across this river, and I'm like, that's a perfect place to just go start. So I already know where I'm going to sit him at. So
That's awesome.
strategizing. I love it.
Yeah, I've actually had to learn the ways of kind of scouting online here recently, trying to do some public land. Not successful at it, but trying. But going along with that, Jay, what is your best piece of like actionable advice for someone new or old, like someone that wants to go out there, wants to get it done, has been like listening to people, maybe watching some YouTube videos, but like wants to go? What would
Yeah.
you say? What would you suggest to them?
Yeah, so you can only do so much online now. I mean, I didn't grow up that way. I was lucky enough I could follow, my uncle and my dad and trail behind them and get slapped in the face by limbs. And, this is the scrape. This is a scrape. This is a rubbing. This is turkey scratching. This is hog rooting. I was lucky enough to hands-on experience. A lot of this now is YouTube or Google. Let me Google this. What is a buck scrape? Whatever. And until you actually just put yourself in the woods or the field or on the water and experience yourself and learn from your own mistakes, you're not going to be extremely successful. You can listen to people like me all day long say this is what you need to do, but until you actually put yourself in the position, you're never really going to learn. You need to get out there and you need to fail to be good. That's all there is to it. You have to fail.
Yeah, so looking at GON, and obviously, we've been connected with you, whether it's through the Ag Pro GON Outdoor Blast or articles being featured, Truck Buck. You've been in there a lot. What's your connection to GON? What's that like? And also, is it just as simple as, hey, I'm a Georgia boy and this is who I am?
Yeah, no. So GON, yes, GON makes you feel like a Georgia boy. That's for dang sure. So prior to GON, this is, oh gosh, brother, you can help me with this. 86, 87,
87.
Yeah,
87. Okay, so
87, really.
right.
Yeah, I was alive then.
I knew, but I knew you knew the info. See, 87. So prior to 87, and I don't even know if it exists anymore or not. There's only one magazine, and I remember it was Georgia Sportsman. And it was cool to flip the Georgia Sportsman and see it was like a colored page stuff. It was the only magazine you could look at in the state of Georgia that I can remember. Like, oh, cool, you can see stuff in Georgia. And then I can almost remember, and look, in 87, I was only 8 years old, but I can literally remember getting the GON, getting this paperback book and looking through it. And then this went on for years, of course. So maybe I didn't pay much attention to 87, 88, 89, but like 90, 91, 92, 93. Dude, that was what you look forward in the mailbox to get more than anything else, especially the sticker, so you can slap it on the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And Scottsdale, right? Slap that sticker on the back and roll. But GON, man, it's almost like saltwater. It's been in my blood my whole life. I love it. I think it's the greatest information that you could possibly come up with in the state of Georgia by far. I don't know why every state doesn't do it. But and of course we've tried, Alabama. I don't even know where we're at with that anymore. But there's a couple other states that you guys have gotten in on it. But No, dude, GON is definitely, it's almost like a family, campfire family that you may have not met that you have. And anytime, that of course it got online, and then back, around the 2000 range, you could actually 2001, 2002, you could get on there when the forums were created. I don't know exactly what year that was. That was cool. That was when I was really starting to get online to talk to other people about what was going on. So we had the campfire talk and all this stuff. And I don't even, honestly, it's shameful enough. I don't even know if that exists much anymore because I'm so overwhelmed with everything I've got going on. But
Oh, it's alive and well, just so you
yeah,
know.
so, and that's fantastic because that is such a great place to go. And it's got, there's so many different forums that you can get on to fit you to get in and talk to guys, and they're very, very helpful people. And yeah, it's just family. It's family that you don't physically get to meet sometimes. Sometimes you do. Because I mean, we've had plenty of parties and stuff through GON, meeting through the forum actually that I've gone to, and it's been really, really awesome. So no, GON has been a part of my life since I was a child. I mean, obviously. So I will always be a part for as long as GON exists or I exist, one of the two. So
That's awesome. And so we know you've hunted in Georgia. We know you've hunted obviously recently in Kansas, everywhere else you've fished. What makes Georgia outdoors different or better or what? What do you
well,
think?
first off, it's home. Okay. When you travel, that's going to meet new people and new places and see different sights, and that's somewhat of a vacation. But you're gonna come home. So home to me is obviously just right here in Georgia. This is my roots. This is where I belong, and I want to get along with everybody in Georgia. So there again, the GON is such a huge connection there. Um, all even with Daryl and Steve over all the years that I've known the whole family there, it's just always been something special. But no, Georgia's home. So yeah, it's me and my wife. That's cool. How old that looks like? I don't know where we are. Maybe that's Kentucky last year.
That's
Yep,
awesome.
that's pretty cool.
Do you think it's easier or more difficult to hunt out of state? I know it's different. There's lots of things to take into account, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I believe I believe that Georgia is probably one of the hardest states that you could possibly hunt. Um, and I'm not saying that because I live here. It should be the easiest, but I believe it's probably one of the hardest. I think the Southeast is the hardest. Um, I was trying to teach Chase about this. Chase is my new member on 4610, and I was explaining to him, like, he was like, "Oh, what's Kansas like?" Well, I've never really hunted Kansas, but I've been in Illinois a lot. And I'm like, man, these Midwestern deer, it's just not like Georgia. Like in Georgia, I feel like I need to climb dang 25, 30 feet high to get out of the way so they just don't even look up at you to see if there's anything in the tree. And the deer out here, man, we can hunt 10 feet off the ground and won't even look at you. And if they do, they just keep walking. I was like, it's totally different. So I don't know. Probably biased, but I definitely say Georgia's a lot harder, even though I live here. Turkey, same thing. The big old eastern longbeards here in Georgia, man, they're tough. They're tough, tough, tough. I feel like every time I travel somewhere, and I hunt a lot of public land in other states, especially turkeys. I've just killed. Let's see that bird I killed. I think Oklahoma last spring was my 20th state that I've killed a longbeard in. So I've done a lot of turkey hunting in other states, and I still believe that Georgia's probably the toughest state there is.
What do you
Um,
think it is about Georgia that makes it so tough to hunt turkeys? Because I've heard that from a lot
well,
of people and have experienced that myself. But
it's funny. I'll give you an example. So Georgia, we have a lot of turkey hunters in the southeast. There's a lot. I don't even know what. I would be curious, and GON may have put this out, but now I'm getting to thinking. I would like to know, and I'd love to see an article on the average number of licenses bought in the state of Georgia, and then the average number of sits per person per season, and just to get an idea. And I actually came up with that one time, but I'm gonna get back to what I was saying. A buddy of mine, turkey hunting. You go in Georgia and hunt. I can take you to multiple states right now on public land. You and I could, in the springtime, we could get off the plane, get the rental car, go straight there, step out the first morning, both be tagged out and right back home. I'm not saying you can't do that in Georgia, but you will work your tail off trying to get it done the first day. It takes you a minute. I don't know if it's, living here in the Southeast, unfortunately, we've replaced every single oak tree or an apple tree or a peach tree with a pine tree. So we have nothing but pine trees and thick stuff everywhere. So they smell you, they see you, they hear you coming. And then I think the influx, we have the population of hunters that we have is probably more than most states have. I don't know. But the Midwest, the Western states, they definitely have less people hunting. There's no doubt about it. Definitely less pressure. There's no doubt about it, and more animals. You just don't see them here like you do out there. It's crazy. That's why I love traveling. I love to see different stuff and new stuff. It's pretty cool. But I would like to see that though. Like I would like to know how many people hunt in the state of Georgia. Somebody asked me that. They were like, "Man, you killed that." I killed a state record back in 2007, and that deer's 234 and 7/8 inches. And they were like, "How many people you think's had the opportunity to kill a deer like that?" And I'm like, I sat there and I was like, I don't know. And I tried to come up with some research, and I'm probably wrong. But at the time, I think it was somewhere around 500,000 licenses, deer hunting licenses have been sold in the state of Georgia. It was over 500,000. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, 500,000 licenses were sold in the state of Georgia this year. Let's say the average person sits 3 times, just 3 sits, Saturday morning, Saturday evening. Let's call it Sunday morning just for the heck of it. 3 sits. Well, that's 1.5 million sits per season. That deer's almost 20 years old now. So if you do the math on it, what's that? Almost 30 million sits?
Yeah.
30 million sits. And I killed a 234 inch whitetail with a bow and arrow. So I'm like, this guy's sitting there just like wide open, and I'm like, I don't know, something like that. I say pretty dang lucky.
Yeah.
So,
Goodness. That's some good math right there.
The chase, man, the chase, you just can't replace it. Jay, man, we appreciate you so much for taking time to join us. And for everybody out there, you can find Jay's work over on YouTube at 46, and then you spell out 10, 46TEN. And then you can also find him on Instagram at Jay Maxwell 46TEN. And that's, kind of where that's where we pulled our photos from. They're awesome. And we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Man, thank y'all so much for having me. Good to see you again. And of course, I'm always here if you need me. Anybody else, if you guys want to reach out to me on Instagram, I really do try to answer all my DMs and whatever you call it. I'm getting old, so I'm still trying to figure that out. But I always try to help you out and do the best I can. I love all y'all, and just God bless every one of you.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank y'all.
All right, Braelin. I love that. I love everything you had to say, down to the, adopting a child. That got me first thing, because I love my kids. I'm crazy about them. And what a family man, and what a woodsman.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love Jay. I've had the fortune of meeting him before, and it's funny that he mentioned we're from the same hometown, or that we're from the same area relatively, because Lincoln's not close to anything. But he actually knows my oldest brother from Thompson, which is where Jay's from. So it is interesting, and it's a small world that he's from there. So we've known him, and he knew a little bit of my family and some close friends. But he's a great guy. I love him.
I figured there was probably, I wondered if there would be some hair standing up on the back of your neck when he's like, "Oh, Jay's saying Braelin's from Thompson." I don't know if Braelin wants to say she's from Thompson.
No, I did go to school there. I went to elementary school in Thompson. And my brothers went to some schools in there, in Thompson, but I'm not from there,
Do McDuffie County and Lincoln County border up?
Yes.
Okay.
So I grew up on the main highway that takes you from Lincoln into Thompson.
Okay.
So we were close. We were about 20 minutes away. So
Yeah.
not too far off. Might as well be the same place. But
that works. If somebody were to tell me, "Hey, we're from the same place," and they're from Douglas, then I would go with that.
I kind of tell everybody I'm from Augusta, because nobody knows where Lincoln is. So, and that's a far way off. But no, Jay's awesome, and it was cool listening to him talk about his family and just being a boat captain and all that. Because I bet you that's a lot of people don't know that about him. And I wish we'd have gotten into talking about him building John boats. Maybe we'll talk about that on another interview with him, or someone else can ask him about him building John boats.
We need to get a recap of that Oklahoma trip to see if that reverse psychology worked. To see if he got to put his dad on one. I'm probably going to check with him. soon after that, just to see how shooting guns again worked out for him, since he, obviously since he's more of a bow hunter, or what is almost exclusively a bow hunter now until he goes to Oklahoma. I'm interested to see how that works out for him too. But yeah, I mean, you know that there are a lot of guys and a lot of people in this space, a lot of women, a lot of men who like to hunt and fish. But from somebody who has kind of made a career out of each of them, I don't think that comes around every day. And I think that provides a little bit of perspective that, hey, a lot of people didn't get a chance to do this, but they love this, and they think they're not interested, but then all of a sudden they get a little bit, get a little bit of deer woods in them, or they get a little bit of salt water in them, or river fishing, whatever. And next thing you know, like, they can't get enough of being out there.
That's right. And that's what it's all about. I mean, just getting outside and being out there and taking it all in and enjoying it no matter what. I mean, just being outside. That's what it's all about.
That is, man. Enjoying God's creation, letting it minister to you, letting it talk to you. Little quick anecdote here. I spoke with somebody here recently who killed a 17-point buck, our man Michael Cochran of Urban Deer Management. And he told me it was one of the coolest stories I think I've ever had a chance to write, just in terms of, he asked himself, hey, does this deer mean too much to me? And as somebody who had given his life to the Lord, within the last year, he went to Sunday school. There was a lesson, and the lesson was, kind of made him think like, hey, maybe I need to back off a little bit. He backs off, and then 2 days later he kills the buck. So it's so many stories like that to tell, and we're going to hunt up as many of them as we possibly can. This has been the Field Notes Podcast. That's all we've got this one. In the meantime, we're going to get ready and try to put together another really cool show for you next week for Thanksgiving. It will be on Wednesday. So there won't be a happy Thursday morning from my ugly mug come next Thursday. That'll be from a turkey or some dressing or some mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, whatever you got queued up.
Duck hunting.
Yeah. Some people like to go out on Thanksgiving Day for sure. High school, I used to want to go hunting, but then I'd always have to practice football on Thanksgiving Day because we were always in the playoffs, and that practice was terrible. I hated it, but whatever. Whether you're doing that or whether you're playing in a turkey bowl at your local high school football field, or plan to do it later in that day, hope you enjoy your family, and we'll be back with you next Wednesday. Y'all take care.
See y'all.